The wind bites. Cannon smoke hangs like a ghost over the gray sea. Two fleets close, one carrying Napoleon Bonaparte's dream of European domination, the other standing between that dream and Britain's shores. On October 21, 1805, destiny met discipline at the Battle of Trafalgar. In less than a single day, the map of naval power would be burned into history. Stay with me, because this isn't just a story of ships and guns. It's the moment a bold tactic, fierce leadership, and a terrible personal sacrifice changed the course of an age. By 1805, Europe was a continent of constant war. Napoleon Bonaparte had remade armies and borders on land, but to invade Britain, he needed control of the sea. The French and Spanish fleets gathered in the Atlantic to clear a path, a plan dangerous in its scale and fragile in its timing. Britain could not allow invasion, so its navy prepared to meet the threat with one clear aim: stop the fleet before it could challenge the island. Commanding the British fleet was Vice Admiral Horatio Nelson, a man whose name would become legendary. Nelson knew he faced a numerically strong combined fleet, but numbers alone don't win battles. He trusted training, seamanship, and an audacious idea. Instead of engaging in parallel lines and trading broadsides, he would cut the enemy line and strike in close columns. That tactic would break coordination, throw enemy captains into chaos, and let British crews fight at point-blank range, where their gunnery and discipline could decide the day. On the morning of October 21st, the sun rose over Cape Trafalgar. Nelson formed his ships into two tight columns and steered straight at the combined Franco-Spanish line. The sea filled with the roar of cannon and the shriek of shot. Sailors fought not only the enemy, but the weather and the smoke that choked the decks. Ships collided with fire and splintering wood. Men lashed to the rigging, prayed, loaded, and aimed. Nelson's plan worked. By slicing the enemy formation, the British separated ships from mutual support and forced one-on-one fights they could win. The fighting was brutal and personal. Close-range broadsides shattered masts and ripped hulls. Hand-to-hand combat broke out on some decks. British seamanship, fast reloads, disciplined gunnery, and aggressive boarding turned many battles in their favor. But victory came at a cost. During the fight, Vice Admiral Horatio Nelson was struck by a musket ball fired from a French ship and mortally wounded. He was carried below, conscious long enough to learn his fleet had won. His last orders were calm and steady. His last thoughts turned to country and comrades. News of his death spread quickly, and Britain mourned a hero even as it celebrated a historic victory. The result was decisive. The combined fleet lost 22 ships and could no longer threaten British control of the sea. The Royal Navy emerged unchallenged, and Napoleon's dream of invading Britain faded. Instead of the planned invasion, France turned attention back to the continent, where Napoleon continued to fight campaigns by land. Trafalgar did not end the Napoleonic Wars, but it changed the balance. Britain gained dominance at sea that lasted for decades, allowing it to protect trade, project power, and build a global empire in ways the French could not match. Why does Trafalgar still matter? It shows how leadership and tactics can outweigh numerical advantage. It shows the human cost of war, bravery, sacrifice, and loss. It shows that a single battle at sea can reshape geopolitics, directing the flow of history long after the smoke cleared. If you listen closely, Trafalgar also teaches a quieter lesson about decision-making under pressure. Nelson accepted risk, but planned for it. His crews trained for the shock he intended to deliver. In chaotic moments, clarity of purpose and trust in your team can turn the tide, literally in this case. So remember the date, October 21st, 1805. Remember the name, Battle of Trafalgar. Remember the figures, Napoleon Bonaparte's ambitions, Nelson's daring, and the sailors who paid the price. Their story is a sharp example of how naval warfare and leadership combine to shape the modern world. If you enjoyed this deep dive into the Battle of Trafalgar and the clash between Napoleon's plans and British sea power, hit the like button and subscribe for more short historical stories. Thanks for watching. Until next time, keep exploring the past to understand the present.